Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast, where we talk about everything dog. Q&As with veterinarian professionals, rescue operators, everyday topics. We cover everything dog on this podcast. So make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media on both Instagram and Facebook. Thanks again for listening. Now here's that next episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast. This is your host, Brittany, and today we are joined by Melissa. She is the founder and owner of Rustic Paws, located in Beach City, Ohio. So thank you, Melissa, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So I know that grooming was not your first job, and I know that it's pretty new. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you kind of got into grooming.
All right. So, my name's Melissa, and I've been a dog person my entire life. I've grown up with big dogs, grew up with shepherds. I have a black lab, shepherd mix now, and a Bernese mountain dog. So again, both big dogs. And how I really got into grooming was because it seemed like no one in the area really wanted to work with big dogs. That was all the smaller dogs. And so I just was like, all right, let's take my love for dogs and, go get some classes, and went and did all the classes, and here we are. And actually most of my dogs right now are big dogs. So it's kind of great.
That's awesome. So let's back up a step. So Beach City, Ohio, where is that close to? What is it close to?
About 15 minutes from like New Philadelphia, about 20 minutes from Canton, hour from Cleveland.
Okay. And then, so you talked about taking some classes to become a groomer. So what did that look like? Were you able to take those online? Were they, in the evenings at your own pace? Like, tell us about the classes for anyone else that's kind of interested.
So I went through Buckeye Career Center, which is located in New Philadelphia. And they partnered with a groomer in Massillon. And so it was in the evenings. So it worked out perfect. Went there once a week. And it was really cool because we had that hands-on experience. So the first dog I did was a doodle. And then we did work with some smaller dogs and stuff, but just having that hands-on experience was phenomenal. I don't think I could have done it if it was just online and reading about it. So I'm one of those. Yeah. You got to be hands-on with it.
There's a lot of newer groomers that are just doing it virtually, and as someone who has groomed their dogs their entire life, like I've always groomed Pomeranians and Cocker Spaniels, there is so many ways you can mess that up that I know if you're learning online, you're going to have some test cases. You're probably going to be issuing some refunds. Like, it's difficult because every dog has such different hair. Some have like an undercoat, some are more silky, some are more coarse. And so even with my 4 Pomeranians, they all have completely different hair. I'd use different tools on them. I still am like trial and error with like certain like attachments. I have like a vacuum. You know what I'm talking about? Like the vacuum that has the clippers or like the attachments on the end. So that's what I use. I always use just like basic clippers in the past, but I got this off of TikTok Shop and it's great.
TikTok Shop is amazing.
It really is. They have the best stuff. So I love my little grooming set.
Yeah.
So what's been the most difficult part of starting Rustic Paws?
I think just the most difficult part has been, like right now I'm just doing it out of my house. So it's been tricky making that work. But we've made it. This is my 3rd full month. And I mean, I've been pretty much full every month, which has been amazing.
That's awesome.
So, and just getting the rhythm, and then, like you said, having all the different dogs, and just getting to know them. But I've had, quite a few repeats. So it's really cool getting to, see the dogs come in after, like 6 weeks and just see the difference in them from when they first came in. I've had a couple dogs, like the first time they came in, it was a lot of work because they hadn't been groomed for a while. And it was kind of heartbreaking, but I was like, it's all right. And then seeing them come in at like that 6-week follow-up and seeing that they still look good,
Mhm.
compared to when they first came in, and it's rewarding.
Yeah, I think a lot of dog owners either I don't think it's purposeful
No.
most of the time when they're neglecting grooming. I think, you're busy, it could be overwhelming, or I feel like a lot of people don't know the importance of grooming. Like they don't understand how
Yeah.
painful it can be for a dog's nails to get too long or to get those
Mhm.
mats. And so I think your services, you're also educating owners, like
Yeah.
they're now going to know and see this for all of their future dogs. Maybe they're going to mention it to their brothers and sisters, their kids, whomever. But I think you're setting the stage, especially in your area, for better dog care, better health care.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what are you looking forward to learning more about as you continue to grow your grooming business?
Just again, like learning all the different dogs, because obviously there's so many different breeds that it's hard to know all of them at once. And just, I look forward to just making a difference. Um,
Hmm.
like I know that God put me here to really like just help with dogs.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like even in this very simple scenario of, just giving them a good bath and just loving on them. It
Yeah.
makes a huge difference in them. So
Yeah. And I should have asked this earlier. What services do you offer right now?
so I do, I have a rustic refresh, which is, bath, dry, nails, and ears.
Okay.
And then I have a rustic rejuvenate, which is all of that plus cut.
Okay.
So the only thing I don't offer right now is anal glands. Haven't got there yet.
Yeah, that one's tricky.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't do my own dogs. I have tried. It's been an absolute disaster. And honestly, I just take them to the vet to do it because they'll do it internally,
Yeah.
get it over with. Yeah, no,
And
thank you. Yeah.
so sorry for whoever's listening. Not yet.
Yeah, just go to your vet for that right now. It's
Yes,
just
please.
way easier that way. So, and this kind of leads to that educational piece. Have you yet had a dog where you're like, "Hey, owner, you
Mhm.
might want to get their anal glands expressed?" Like, have you had that interaction yet?
I've had someone ask me if I do it, and if I have said no. But I actually have had to educate on the importance of like nail care. I
Mhm.
had a dog come in who they had an ingrown toenail that was going into their paw pad,
Yeah.
and I just informed them, like, hey, unfortunately, with how it is, just due to risk of infection, you're gonna have to call your vet, um, because I don't want to take that risk of something happening or an infection or anything like that.
Mhm.
Um, and then I did have a dog come in that was about a year old, and I mean, just incredibly matted. Um, just girl was in a rough situation and just lost track of taking care of her dog. And I mean, I had a mat come off that was the size of my hand.
Mhm.
Um, and just, explaining, hey, this is super important because she was in pain and
Yeah.
trying to get all of that off of her. I know that I was unfortunately hurting her, but at the same point, it was like afterwards, the dog looked totally different, had a different demeanor. So it's just those little things right now, like just making sure like nails are taken care of and the mats, because it is super painful, and they'll
Mhm.
let you know if something's bothering them.
Right. Yeah, and I think getting under those mats and even being able to see the skin and maybe giving owners a heads up like, "Hey, Fluffy's skin is really red," or "Fluffy has a rash,"
Yeah,
or, "It's really dry." What or "Fluffy has
yeah,
fleas." I don't know if you knew this, but Fluffy has fleas.
yeah.
What are some tips that you have that would help make grooming easier, whether it's they're grooming at home and it makes it easier for them at home to maintain, or, they intend on coming
Mhm.
to a groomer every 6 to 8 weeks? Like, what are some like basic tips that you have?
Good brushing. Just taking even a day a week and just brushing your dog well. That makes a huge difference. That'll help cut down on the development of mats um, and just keeping an eye on if they do have fleas and keeping an eye on their nails. Um, you know, just if there is something going on, I always say, hey, if you see that their nails are getting longer quicker, let me know. Bring them in,
Mhm.
um, because I don't want that to happen. So
And a question about nails. So, and I don't know if this is an old wives' tale, but they always say if you let them grow too long, the quick also
Hmm.
grows longer. Is
Yes,
that true?
it is true.
Okay.
So yeah, if you let them grow too long, the quick will grow with it, and then it will take a longer time of even just trimming them very little, just to get that quick to recede. So their
Mm,
nails will be longer for a while because of that quick. So it's just
interesting.
just a matter of getting them trimmed little by little by little to get that to recede.
Okay. And for anyone listening that they want to check you out, they want to book you, where can they find Rustic Paws?
You can find me on Facebook. It's just Rustic Paws. Or you can shoot me a text or an email. So yeah,
Well, thank you so much, Melissa. We appreciate you filling that void in your area and
thank you.
educating people. For anyone listening, Melissa has plans of hopefully starting a rescue, and
I do.
her and I kind of share that sentiment. So you'll probably hear more from her in the future. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to the Canine Culture Podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media. If you have any recommendations, any topics that you'd like to hear, if you know of any guests that would be good for the show, or if you yourself want to be a guest, please reach out to us. Send us an email at canineculturepodcast@gmail.com, or send us a direct message on social media. Thank you for listening, and please share this with any of your dog-loving friends.